Hey people, so today I want to talk to you about FND. What is FND? So FND stands for Functional Neurological Disorder, and that's basically how the brain sends and receives signals. So how did I come about getting diagnosed with FND? So in 2011 I got cancer, and then in 2014 I got cancer again. A lot of trauma. I had a lot of chemo, lots of surgeries, and like mentally, it just destroyed a lot up here. I'm still here. I survived. Thank God. Thank somebody. Thank the people that saved me. Like genuinely, like game changer, literally. Yeah. It's still like I'm 36 and it still feels like looking back, it's still like I don't even know how I got through it. Genuinely, like if you knew me before, you'd be like, how on earth? like my body used to shut down at the sight of blood. Any talk of the human body. If I got too hot, I'd literally just faint, and I don't really know to this day what caused that. Maybe it was the FND, because I don't know whether you're born with it. I don't know whether it can just happen after trauma. I don't really know. Yeah. Anyway, so I was diagnosed with FND after going to numerous memory clinics, going to the doctors, speaking to my oncologists, speaking to just like anyone and everyone. Why is my memory so bad? Like, I can't even tell you I can't even remember what I did yesterday. That's how bad it is. Like, even now, like, not a clue. 2 days ago. You know when people say, oh, like, how did your weekend go? Like, what did you get up to? And people can go, oh, we did this with the kids. Did. And they list off, like, tons of different things. Oh, we went to Hair Mothers. We went to. You know, I don't even know how that's possible. I literally... I can't do that. Like, I just can't do it. And, like the other day, I asked somebody what Charlie Chaplin, like what he did. Like, and someone said, like, comedy. Like, just, like, normal, basic history. I just can't remember any of it. Like facts of life, and, it's just crazy. So I would be a terrible quiz partner. That's probably why I don't do quizzes, because I'd either give the wrong answer or the stuff that I know wouldn't come up in a quiz. So what's the point? Like, I'd be the perfect witness to any crime, because they'd say oh, like, did you see what happened? And I'd be like, I saw it, but I can't remember. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, yeah, so pretty crazy. Anyway, I'm sidetracking here. ADHD. So after going through, like, memory clinics and doctors and just, like, seeing specialists and just trying to really figure out, like, do I have dementia? Because, like, if you look at my symptoms and then you look at, like, early onset dementia, I 100% tick that box. But because I'm 36 years old, even though you can get dementia at 36 years old, everyone was like, it's not dementia. It's not dementia. And I was like, what is it then? What is it? Like, because I'm going insane, because it's getting worse, and it is progressively getting worse. So I saw a clinical psychiatrist at, like, a community memory clinic thing. And after seeing a neurologist, who then did, like, multiple memory tests, I got told I have moderate cognitive impairment. So, like, like what else? Where's that come from though? And what help can I get and stuff? You know what I mean? And they just kind of fobbed me off. Like, and I was just kind of like, so you've told me I've got moderate cognitive impairment, but you haven't given me, like, surely there's a diagnosis somewhere lurking there. no one ever did. And I was like, so that just sent my brain into like overdrive. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I'm 36. I just need to know what's going on with me once and for all. So then I saw a clinical psychiatrist who then ordered a PET scan. He was the only one for years, right, who ordered a PET scan. I was like, praise the Lord, this guy wants to figure out what's going on with me. And yeah, so I got the PET scan back, and it took ages, by the way, to get the results. And I was like, why did it take so long? And he said, I didn't want to give you the results because I wanted to talk to you in person. I was thinking, Jesus, have I got like a brain tumor or something? You know what I mean? And he goes, so there was something on your scan. Your frontal lobes, there is very mild reduction. So I was like, so there is something. So it's not just in my head. Like, there is something going on. So what does that mean? And he said, like, it can be depression. I was like, mate, I am not depressed. I get up every day. I go out. I enjoy. I don't have anhedonia. I go out with friends. I go bowling. I do all this stuff. There's no way I'm depressed. I don't even like tick the boxes for depression. Like, I've been depressed, and there's no way I'm depressed. So I was like, don't even take me down that road, because I know where that leads. And you just put me on antidepressants and go, like, get on with it. No, it's not happening. And that's what happens to a lot of people that aren't depressed. I understand that if you are depressed, then yeah, antidepressants, even though they're awful. Like, the side effects of that are just awful. I'm getting rather animated. Yeah, so he didn't say that, but he said, I think it's FND. And I said, what's that? Functional neurological disorder. And then I remembered back that my neurologist, who I saw before I was having the PET scan, she said she thinks it's FND, functional neurological disorder. And I said, what's that? And she gave me like a post-it note with neurosymptoms.org on it. I'll link the link in the description so you can check it out. But yeah, I wasn't like, I was a bit like, great, you just hand me a website. All this, and you just hand me a website. I was like, very, very, very annoyed. And I sort of felt like they just don't get it, like, and I just wish someone would, and I said, I wish somebody would have the minerals to just say it. If it's dementia, just say it. I don't care. I've been through that much stuff. I was like, I do not care. And they didn't even use the D word. So it's like, so I got the post-it note from my neurologist, and she said, like neurosymptoms.org, check it out. So I did, and I was like, when you're like looking at something, and I was like, yeah, there's no way that isn't me at all. I don't have FND. What the hell? But after looking at people's stories and and really like looking at the symptoms, that plus ADHD, it sort of made sense. And I was like, yeah, it just made a lot of sense. And yeah, so I slowly come to terms with it. But then obviously when I found out that I've got very mild reduction in my frontal lobes on my PET scan, and I've got the images and I've got the report now, which again took forever. So it's okay for them to do a scan. Oh, we need to do a scan. Oh yeah, right. But when you actually want the files and the report, it takes forever. Like, you have to request it, you have to send ID. What? I don't understand that. So that was a bit mad in itself. So yeah. So my like sort of representation of FND that I was dealing with was chronic fatigue, major pain, like chronic pain in my legs, movement issues. Like the other night, I went swimming, and a girl who I know, she said, like, she was watching me, and I was just taking my sliders off next to the pool, and I did sort of lose my balance and stumble a little bit. And she said, "Are you okay? You nearly stumbled into the pool." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah," and I didn't get into it, but that's the FND. I'm like a wonky donkey basically, which is not great. And also, like, I keep bashing into things when I'm walking, when I'm in work, like just out and about. I'm like just like unsteady, not off balance, and I don't have dizziness or anything like that, but just like unsteady on my feet and stuff. So FND. The memory loss, the chronic memory loss, FND, ADHD, yeah, 100%. And I am glad it's not dementia, but I'm gonna keep an eye on like the very mild reduction of frontal lobes, because, well, yeah, like a more like if that still keeps reducing, surely that's gonna mean something else is going on. I don't know. It's all a bit in the air. Yeah, it's all a bit in the air at the moment. So, yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on it. But, I don't mind having labels. I think labels, obviously, a lot of people will, I've got this, 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 and they'll list like 10 things, and you think, Christ, like, you know what I mean? I'm happy to have, I'm happy to have FND and ADHD, because those are what fit me truly. Like, I don't have ADHD as a trend or whatever, because I've been on medication now for just over a week, and it's changed my life. Like, honestly, like, it's pretty crazy, to be honest. Yeah, and also, like, one thing that I noticed, so I was walking with a friend yesterday, right? Also, I just didn't get fatigued, right? And she said, how are the meds? And I said, yeah, really good. And I listed this, and I listed a few side effects that I've noticed. And she said, how's the pain? And I said, what pain? Right? I hadn't even noticed that I wasn't in chronic pain. And I haven't been in chronic pain since I started the medication, which is mind-blowing, literally. I hadn't even recognised that I wasn't in pain. I hadn't been taking any pain relief, and I was like, what the hell? Like, how is that possible? So I Googled it. You ready? Right. And it says, my phone loads. Bear with me. I've got an iPhone XR, which is god awful. Some ADHD medications may help alleviate pain by addressing cognitive dysfunction and central sensitization. Fucking hell, that's a big word. Which are key mechanisms in chronic pain. Wow, honestly, that's like, how does that work? Because, like, yeah, I don't know how that works. Like, but I'm gonna like do some research because I'm curious. And like, because FND, I hadn't actually hurt myself. I was just in pain. Just my body was giving me fatigue, lethargy, just like chronic pain, just achiness, just like, I just didn't have to get up and go, which is crazy because, like, I'm fit. Like, I'm carrying a bit of weight, don't get me wrong, but I am fit and healthy. Yeah, so go ADHD meds, woo! Like, anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to do this vid. So anyone who's got ADHD, FND, comment, I want to hear about it, and yeah, subscribe. Alright guys, I'll catch you all in the next one.